Hello. Good evening, everybody. It is
Hey, everybody.
7 p.m. on a Monday night, which means it's time to play That Sounds
right.
I'm your host, Misinformation.
And I'm Misinformation sidekick, Will Actually.
Now, tonight we have 3 amazing contestants lined up for all of you. They're going to be playing a game where you and I get to decide what sounds right. Here, we don't give points for correct answers. We only give points for what sounds right. Let's bring up our contestants here tonight. We have Nate. Welcome, Nate. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, glad to have you here. We have Sam.
Hello.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for being on the show. And we have Greg.
Hello. Good evening. Good to be here.
I'm so glad you're all here. The 3 of you are about to give me a lot of information, some of which is correct, but most of which is made up on the spot. Now, audience, if you missed our show last week, this is how the game works. These 3 contestants have submitted questions to me to ask them tonight. For each of these questions, 1 contestant will be giving a correct answer, and 2 contestants will just be making up information on the spot. It is up to me, with the help of you, the audience, to decide who I think sounds right and who will get the 5 points, and at the end of the night, the diploma from 2MB University. Are the 3 of you ready to dive in?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fantastic. I have our first question pulled up right here. I'm going to read it to you once, and then I'm going to read it to you a second time.
Okay.
Here comes the first time. In 1820, what vegetable or fruit got taken to trial, and how were they proven innocent? I'm going to give that question to you one more time, contestants. The question is, in 1820, what vegetable or fruit got taken to trial, and how were they proven innocent? I am coming to Greg first for your answer. You have 20 seconds on the clock.
Is it a fruit or a vegetable? I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what. It's a tomato. Now, this took place in 1820. They were seen as evil there in Salem, Massachusetts, where they thought everything was evil. And you know, they're a nightshade, and they're bright, and they're sweet, and they're delicious.
Of course.
And to prove that they were not evil, because they were on trial for being too evil, these tomatoes, a man named Robert Johnson defended them. He ate an entire basket of tomatoes to prove that they weren't harmful.
You know, Greg, that sounds like a surefire way to prove the innocence of a fruit or vegetable. But let me
Just eat it a bunch, and then how could it be bad if you ate it a bunch?
I guess that holds up. Sam, I'm coming to you next. Sam, what's your answer to this question?
Well, Greg is correct that it is the tomato, but it wasn't in America. It was actually in England in 1820. And tomatoes were put on trial because people were throwing them at people in the stalks. And they thought that it was cruel and unusual punishment derived because of what the tomato was. And the way they were proven innocent was they had people throw soft plums at people in the stalks, and it showed that it hurt them the same amount.
Okay, well, that sounds exactly like something that would happen in England. And audience, for those of you who don't know, I believe the stocks are where they would put people to hold their hands and head. Yes.
Yes, on Wall Street.
Of course. Sam, that sounds to me like it could sound right, but I'd like to hear Nate's answer first. Nate, what's your answer to this question?
These guys are way off base. It's actually a lime. A lime was put on trial. This comes from citrus farms because there was a big issue with people pulling fruit off of trees prior to the ripe date. The argument was that they said limes were just unripe lemons. So the actual lime was taken to trial in order to prove that it was a separate citrus fruit from lemons in order to allow people to pick limes, basically.
Huh. So how they proved the innocence of the lime was by
They had a different flavor, right? So they did a flavor profile, and it had a different shape, and it had, so it had different like fruit on the inside. The meat, I guess it's called. So yeah, they found it to be a separate fruit,
right?
In the court of law.
Right, the meat of the fruit. Audience, for those of you who don't know, a lime does taste different from a lemon.
It does.
So for me, Nate's answer is really holding up. A lime does taste different from a lemon. Now, Greg and Sam, both of you said the tomato. And I was wondering, is the tomato a fruit or vegetable? This is to back up your argument. Greg, is it a fruit or a vegetable?
So I'm pretty sure it's a fruit because fruits have the seeds.
Yep, that sounds right. Sam, do you know? Do you know if it's a fruit or a vegetable?
Sure that it's definitely a fruit or a vegetable, which was the question.
Oh, it is a fruit or a vegetable, depending on the context.
If it's in a salad, vegetable.
Vegetable. The audience is agreeing
that is a strawberry a vegetable in a salad then?
As in like a strawberry salad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Now, from the audience, I'm hearing some people are a little unsure. Except for C. Kling knows the answer. Yes. What if it's in a fruit?
Well, and to my point, exactly. A fruit salad has to specifically denote that it is a fruit salad and not a vegetable salad because the inherent default mode of a salad is to be vegetable.
Thank you, Greg. This totally sold me, that last argument. It's clear to me now that you are trying to take me off the trail of the correct answer, which was Nate all along. All of this talk about fruits and vegetables and salads is starting to make me think that this is all a grand divergence. I'm going to do...
Are you saying that we had a Sprite style or a Coca-Cola style taste test in a trial in the 1820s? That seems a bit unlikely to me.
Well, when you build a community around farming, specifically citrus farming, these are questions that are vital to the survival of the community. So yeah, as ridiculous as it sounds, yep, it had to happen.
Yeah, and the 1820s were a very agrarian time. So I'm
very agrarian.
And give Nate 5 points. 5 points to start off the night. Nate is getting our first round of 5 points.
Well, actually, here. Greg was actually right on that one. It is a tomato, and they thought it was evil.
You're kidding.
Sorry, not kidding. It wasn't in England. It was here in the U.S.
I have to say, Greg was last on my list. There was no chance I was going to Greg with that evil tomato answer.
Yeah, it was really stupid.
I can't believe we're all here, you guys. Our ancestors were dumb.
Yeah.
Well, that answer did not sound right. I'll tell you that much.
What about giving Greg those points?
I just said, Will, that answer did not sound right. We're going to go ahead and move on to our second question. Our second question is, what was the original service offering for the company that later became America Online? I'm going to ask that question one more time before coming to you for answers. What was the original service offering for the company that later became America Online? Sam, I'd like your answer first.
Sure. America Online actually started out as a office processing software company. They actually came up with several versions of products that would, not those products exactly, but later versions of from other companies would eventually come things like Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, et cetera. And they basically created these products and realized that they were not in a position to be competitive in the market without to be competitive with companies like Microsoft who had already started producing versions of these products for the average consumer. And so they dropped out of that market. They had a lot of funding left, and they decided to switch over to internet services.
And they were called America Online?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Nate, I'm coming to you for your answer next.
So America Online started like they always had their eyes to the future, basically, but they had started as a networking company that was designed to connect you with professionals in the area. It's kind of like an Angie's List, like a real early Angie's List. So I kind of think of it as like a Yellow Pages. Honestly, they Elon Musk did Yellow Pages, and they found that they could make it much bigger than their initial thought. And eventually, it came into people were calling them. They're looking for professionals, and it became into more of like we want to expand into everything. And then tech comes in, and you know the rest.
And I do know the rest, of course. Okay, that sounded pretty good. That was a lot of words that Nate just said. Let's see what Greg thinks. Greg, what's your answer to this question?
So I think they started in internet, but very specific, which was they offered a service. Oh, you've heard of downloadable video games, right? I mean, the PlayStation 5 just came out with a version that is entirely downloadable games. I think that they had a service that was specifically for the Atari 2600 that let you download games through the phone.
Oof.
Through the phone?
Through the phone, right? Dial up like through the phone, like a phone, like back in the like beep, beep, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, right?
Like a landline.
Like a landline, right?
Okay.
So you could download games.
Okay. Rachel does not believe Greg.
That's fine.
Greg, this idea is pretty far-fetched, but so was Evil Tomatoes on trial. So, anything can happen. I'm going to return to Sam's answer really briefly. Sam, your answer was that they made office products.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we talking physical products?
Yeah, could you get specific?
I'm talking about software. Like
Software products.
They're always a software company.
Things for such as typing or perhaps putting numbers in.
Things like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They liked the kind of pun in their name, which was a mix between like America Online, like assembly line, and also America Online, like you turn on your computer and then you're online ready to go.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was a name. They ended up with a better situation after they switched.
Which is what they do now.
Can we interrogate one another's responses?
Yeah, Greg, go ahead.
Purely for you. Sam, you just said you're online ready to go. And I'm curious, if it wasn't internet, what did online mean?
Like
on the phone
when they're getting on work? Yeah, on the phone line.
On the phone line.
Oh, on the phone line. You're on the phone line. Your computer's up, and you're on the phone line, ready to go.
You're on the you're on the hook.
Did people work from home back then? Because I'm thinking if you're working from home, you might call someone to say, "I'm starting to work now." Mm-hmm. In which case, you would be on the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that the software for checking in did not exist yet, so you had to call and say, "I'm starting to work now." Hello, Bob. I'm starting to work now. It is 9:05.
9:05.
I'm sorry, I'm late.
5 after
time to start.
Now, I'm hearing from other Dave Thomas that Atari actually means downloadable phone game for the phone. Sorry, downloadable video game for the phone in Japanese.
Yes.
Depends on what dialect you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the kanji. When the kanji stack, that's what they mean.
I see. And Nate, can you remind me of your answer one more time?
Early Angie's List. It's way
right. Yes.
Yeah. They just wanted to connect people to professionals or to workers, or it was more of a connection line that just grew.
I see. So that was like an early internet.
Very early. Yeah, it was. I mean, because Nintendo Power did it in the 80s, getting back to video games, right? You just call a number and you'd say, "Hey, how do I get past this level?" It's sort of like that, except on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've made my decision based on the evidence the audience has presented me with, which is very hot and cold on Greg's answer. Really a huge divide in the audience comments right now. I believe that if there's one thing I know about America, it's that we love to work. I'm going to give Sam 5 points for America Online office products.
Unfortunately, it was Greg again.
No, No, it was downloadable games
Video
through
games.
the phone.
It was called the Game Line. You could download a game for $1 as long as you kept the system on, and then if you turned it off, it would delete the memory. So then you'd have to pay another $1 to get another game.
Holy
Wow.
crap. Oh, my dad would have murdered me, you guys.
So they were ahead of the app craze by about 30 years.
Wow. Everybody in the audience and myself, we are all shocked right now that Greg was telling the truth about these downloadable.
I'm actually not shocked.
Last on my list.
Will actually here, I'm not shocked. So can we give Greg the point for getting it right?
I like that he will actually.
Well, we give no points for correct answers. Greg's answer sounded not at all right to me.
Sorry, Greg.
Not right in any way.
Can we give Will some point? Never mind.
No, Will
Second that.
gets his points at the end. For now, we move on. We have a third question in this round, and our third question is: oxygen is kept lower than normal on a submarine. Why?
Lower than normal?
Yeah, I'm going to repeat the question, Greg. Here it comes. Oxygen is kept lower than normal on a submarine. Why? Why is oxygen kept lower than normal on a submarine? That was a bonus third time you got this question. Nate, what's your answer?
This is a pretty dumb reason here. You keep oxygen low because it simulates a high elevation. High elevation makes you more tired. If you're more tired, you're a more docile crew. If you're a more docile crew, you take orders better, and you're less likely to mutiny.
Mind control.
That's exactly what it is.
I'm skeptical. Greg, what's your answer?
Well, misinformation. You're familiar with the bends, right?
Yes,
Which happens to divers when they surface too quickly. Well, that is caused by their blood oxygenating too rapidly, which causes the blood vessels to expand. So they keep the oxygen lower such that it creates a greater range of depth and rise that the submarine can undergo without hurting the crewmen.
Yes. Yes, that sounds like physics to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of. Physics and biology, where they meet and make a baby, is
Don't
submarines.
you love when that happens in science? Sam, are you doing a meme? Were you?
I was shaking the hands of biology and physics.
I see. That's a meme. Sam, what's your answer?
So it is quite simple, but it's not what Nate or Greg said. Oxygen is flammable, and you have to cook on a submarine. And if there's a flame and there's too much oxygen, you're all gonna die. So you got to keep it low. Otherwise, a little bit too much flame could ignite the entire crew and submarine.
Okay.
Sure. And so rather than have no flames at all, they'll just keep the oxygen low.
Well, if you're gonna have a several-month voyage and you're not gonna get hot food, people are, you need more than docile crew.
I
That's true.
am really split on this answer. Now, Greg, I know you're trying to convince me that they don't need fires on submarines, but I know for sure that they have cans on submarines because Nate told me that.
Okay.
You need to heat up things in cans. I assume you need to have some sort of flame because you don't have.
Microwaves.
No. You can't put a can in the microwave.
No, you take the contents of the can out of the can, and then you put that into the microwave.
All right. Here are things I know for sure. Here are things I know for sure.
All right.
I know for sure that oxygen is flammable.
Yes.
Wait a second.
Sure.
No. Hold on a second. Oxygen is flammable, but in normal life, I light a flame in my kitchen, and that's normal levels of oxygen. So there's no reason they couldn't keep that level of oxygen.
But there's pressurization on a sub, and that changes the flammability point.
Okay, that might.
I would like to remind you, I'm the only one who's been on a submarine.
Nate, I have been on a submarine. I was about to say that. I have been on a submarine before. It wasn't underwater. It's the Albacore submarine
Yep.
in New Hampshire. You can walk on it.
I knew I served on that.
Yeah. Now, my understanding was that misinformation has had all human experiences available.
So walking on a submarine is a special experience. That's not something everyone gets to do. I was pretty excited the day I visited the Albacore. Moving on, I know for sure that Nate has been on a submarine. That, I'm sorry, puts Nate higher on the list. Unfortunately, Greg's answer did sound a lot more right. I know that people get the bends from water level.
Yes.
And I know that oxygen...
Right. It causes oxygen is used by the red blood cells.
Oxygen.
And a proper oxygenated environment causes your red blood cells to be a particular size. Less oxygen, smaller red blood cells, and less the bends.
But I also believe that mind control could happen on a submarine. If it was going to happen anywhere, it would be on a submarine.
I have a difficult time arguing that. I kind of also agree, although I feel like they would maybe just default to hypnosis. I don't necessarily see how oxygen causes mind control.
Greg, how time-consuming to hypnotize the crew every morning.
You just put it on the speakers.
No one wants a hypnotist around.
Just run it on a loop.
All right.
Eyeliner? No, thank you.
It's definitely not Sam's. I've written that off.
I don't see why you think that. I mean, wouldn't you want to prevent the fire of an enclosed submarine as much as possible?
I will point out that subs are pressurized. So you can pressurize a sub, so you're not actually at sea pressure when you're underwater. Inside of the tuna can.
Yep. But they do need to be somewhat more pressurized than the air above the water, because otherwise you'd
get the bends.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The audience is not helping me at all. Our choices are between mind control, fire, and the bends. I'm going to go with Greg's answer. I really think that's the right one.
There's only one contestant who's been on a submarine. It was Nate.
It's really true. It's mind control. They really do it. You know when they turn it up? When it's time to clean. Then they jack it way up.
You're kidding me.
You're energized.
People will fight if the oxygen is too high.
Yeah, it's like going to prison, man. You're underwater with a bunch of other dudes.
Oh, my goodness. I really, really thought I had it right with Greg, because... You really do have to be careful of the bends.
You do.
I really like that the dumbest answer has been right 3 times in a row.
Mind control answer.
Well, I'm glad that Greg finally got points, but can we pass this over to Nate?
Absolutely not. Mind control, that's not convincing at all. Will
Stupid.
actually.
I tell you what, it's stupid.
Game.
Also, for Nate to submit a submarine fact, stupid.
Someone will need to turn down the oxygen levels on Greg's side over here.
All right, we're gonna
I start fires when I want to start fires.
Let's simmer down, everybody. Let's turn the oxygen down for a second.
Okay.
That was our first round. At the end of our first round, it is a tied game.
Ooh.
Greg has 5 points, Sam has 5 points, Nate has 5 points. Greg, tell me a little bit about yourself. We're in between rounds here. What's something you want to tell the audience?
Hi, audience. My name's Greg. I don't actually, these are blue light glasses. These aren't prescription. They're just so I can look at screens for longer, and so that I can appear smart in workspaces.
Greg, did you want to tell the audience about your company?
No, they know.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and move on to our next.
Rachel, if you could just go ahead and drop the link in the chat.
There we go. 3 week courses, everybody. If you want to sign up for a course, go ahead and tell them that 2MB Studios sent you. Thank you, Greg, for the fun fact that you blue light glasses. We're going to move on to round two. Round two, everybody. Our first question, get ready for it. It is, if a climber asks you for campusing beta to send the boulder problem, what is that dude saying? I'm going to read this.
Yeah, there's a lot of words in there. If you could, I'm going to jot that down.
The question is, If a climber, someone who's climbing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, I'm on board now.
If a climber asks you this thing, what are they saying? And the thing is, here's the quote. Campusing beta to send the boulder problem. Campusing beta to send the boulder problem. What does that mean? What's that climber saying? Greg, your answer first, please.
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of words in here, and I wrote them down so that we can just really break it down one piece at a time. All right. So
20 seconds, Greg. Go ahead.
Okay, great.
And time's up.
So a climber asks you to be campusing beta. Well, now campusing we think is a college campus, right? And so what that is you're looking for someone learned. Beta is math, and then we have the boulder problem. And so the boulder problem is a classic climber's dilemma. It's a bit of a riddle in the climbing world, which is if there's a boulder falling down a hill, and there's one climber on one side of the mountain and 5 climbers on the other side of the mountain, and you can divert the boulder to one side to hit the one climber or the 5 climbers, where do you send the boulder? And so you're going to be feedback on this classic boulder problem.
Okay. Thank you, Greg. That is absolutely not correct. Let's go ahead. There's no way a climber would be doing that much thinking. What they have to be thinking about is what next rock am I gonna grab a hold of? I can't believe that they would be thinking about college math and philosophical problems.
I guess you don't do a lot of climbing.
Well, we'll see, Greg. We'll see. Sam, what's your answer?
Sure. So what this dude, I believe you said, is saying is that he wants beta, which is a strategy or help for the boulder problem, which is a short route. Bouldering is climbing a short enough wall that you don't need any ropes. So the boulder problem means route, is a short route. He wants beta for it, which is help or the suggestion of how to move your hands and feet. To send the problem, sending means to successfully climb. And he wants campusing beta, and campusing means to climb without your feet. So he wants tricks to climb this short problem without using his feet.
I see. So that they would be asking for help from someone like on the ground who could maybe see more like clearly.
Mm-hmm. Or had done it before, or something like that. Or was a better climber.
Interesting. Nate, I want to hear your answer.
So Sam was really close. He got like the terms correct. He's a little off. What it implies is that you have a partner while you're climbing. It's higher you're on a wall. You do have ropes, and he's right. Each stage of your climb is called a problem. You're coming up to a boulder problem. You want to campus the beta. You have an alpha route and a beta route on every single problem. So what you're trying to do here is you're asking your partner, hey, campus the beta. I don't think I can do the alpha. Basically, it's your backup. You're going to your backup plan.
That makes total sense. I'm not even no talking about it. It's Nate, that sounds right. Alpha, beta, first, second.
I think you're about to find out that you were wrong about that one.
I have a question for Greg after this is over.
We'll actually hear. Sam was correct on that one.
What?
Wait, what? Sam was correct on that one?
Sam was correct. The very specific answer was the correct one. Yeah. You're very quick on that answer, misinformation. You might have benefited from a little extra time.
Nate sounded so confident.
Confidence is my whole thing.
As soon as I heard I got it wrong, I was really afraid it was going to be Greg again, who I wrote off immediately. Why would a climber say that? Why would a climber be talking about a classic math problem? Greg.
I really like the way Greg set that up, is the climbers don't know whether they want to kill one person or 5.
Yep. Yeah, it's the classic boulder problem.
Already go in one direction. It's just
if the boulder can only go in one direction. Now, here's the trick. You can also say, what if you know the one person, but you don't know the other 5? Where do you send the boulder? This is a very difficult boulder problem, and I would recommend canvassing some beta to figure it out.
No.
I'd like to switch my answer to Greg's, please.
Greg, I'm not going to lie. I hated hearing that.
Greg, you're getting points. I have a game show on next, Greg. You're getting points in that one.
Thanks, Nate.
I'm going to read the next question.
All right.
Contestants, please don't. There's no.
I can guarantee you my answer will be some variation of the trolley problem. Let's go.
Question 2, round 2. Which state's official flower is not actually a flower? And what is it? One more time. Which state's official flower is not actually a flower, and what is it? Okay, so we're looking for what is the state and what is their flower, which is not a flower. Sam, we're coming to you first. What's your answer?
The answer is, of course, Maine, and their official flower is actually a pine cone.
All right, that's a good answer.
It is. It's the correct answer.
I'm going to keep an open mind because I think no matter what the actual answer is, it's probably going to sound stupid no matter what because it's not a flower. So I'm going to keep an open mind. Nate, what's your answer?
The answer is Arizona. It's the cactus because a flower, it's just a plant that it basically opens to the sun in the morning. And cactus, if you look at the quills, they actually do open towards the sun in the morning. So it's a cactus.
Okay. That might be right. Greg, what's your answer?
It's Nebraska, and it's corn flower. Flower spelled a different way. They got cheeky with it.
Nebraska?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like Nebraska, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Sam said Maine was a pine cone.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds right because there are pine cones in Maine, but also Mainers feel more like rule followers to me. You know what I mean? Not sure. Nate, cactus, I was so on board when I first heard it, but also I think that some cacti,
yeah.
I think some of them have flowers.
Some do, yes. Some actually bloom. So it's a stretch. It's a stretch of the rule. Honestly, it's them saying, "Hey, we want the cactus to be our official flower."
Okay. Yeah.
Big cactus.
That makes sense that Arizona would want that because they have a lot of them, and probably not many of other plants.
Right. Plus, it gets people to stop thinking about Tempe, which is great.
Okay.
What about Greg's answer?
Greg's answer. So what I like about that is that I like that he said the word cheeky. I think that's a funny word, and it kind of sold me a little bit. Nebraska feels like a place to get cheeky. I forgot Nebraska was even a state. And my one question for you, Greg, is corn flour. Is that a product they're known for?
Yeah, it's flour made of corn.
And they grow corn there, I assume.
Oh, quite a lot.
About as much corn as there is cactuses in Arizona.
I
would say pine cones as other names.
I think there's probably more corn than there are cactuses.
It's not quantity. It's
there's pieces of corn flour for sure.
Do they even have pine cones in Maine?
They do. No, it's actually their state flower.
Okay. I'm gonna rule out Sam's answer because the pine cone actually sits at the top of the Massachusetts State House. So what
flower right there.
On your mind?
Yeah, it could be the Massachusetts state flower for all we know.
They wanted it back, so they made it their state flower.
I like that Greg's involved wordplay. I think that might be hard to come up with on the spot. I'm gonna give it to Greg.
Will actually here, feeling a little disappointed because Sam was actually right. It is the pine cone in Maine.
What?
Robbed twice.
The pine cone is the state flower.
That's so dumb.
That's so dumb. So many flowers grow in Maine.
It's just a baby pine tree. I thought. I don't know.
Can Sam get those points?
I've now looked it up. The actual Nebraska state flower is the Solidago.
Oh, can you look up Arizona for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
No more looking up. That's not what we do on the show. Will, there's going to be no correct answers. Points.
God damn it! Hold on, wait. But I've done it already, and it's actually a cactus.
Now he's going to come back,
So
Greg.
what you're saying is that she picked the one answer that wasn't right?
She picked the one answer that wasn't right. There were two correct answers.
We're moving on. Do not humor Will actually, please. There will be no points given for correct answers. No points for Nate. No points for Sam. Greg's answer sounded right because it was a pun. We are moving on. Third question in the third round is, before alarm clocks, how did people wake up in time for work? Before alarm clocks, how did people wake up in time for work? Nate, how did they do it?
Water on the bedstand. You drink a full glass of water at night. It'll wake you up 6 to 7 hours automatically every single night. That's where it started. That's why it's there. That's what they do.
Did you do that on the submarine, Nate?
I did have a water bottle here. They would wake you up. You know, you sort of don't sleep, honestly.
They wake you up.
Terrible, you guys.
Wow, such service. Good morning. Greg, what's your answer?
Well, the thing with waking up is you got to wake up on time, and you didn't have alarm clocks to wake you up right on time.
Yep.
So, you back then you would just hire a person to do it. And so they had people who would come and just, knock on your door, knock on your window, and make a bunch of noise. They were called, they knock to wake you up, and so they were called knocker uppers, and they would bang to wake you up at the right time.
Question. Who wakes up the knocker? Who wakes up the knocker upper? Is this just like a circle of knocker uppers?
They don't. Well, it's not a cush job. So you lead different hours. You don't sleep. You're up at 5 or 6 in the morning, and you go and you knocker up everyone, and then you go back to bed.
Greg's answer is knocker uppers. I'm not picking it. Sam, what is your answer?
So before there were alarm clocks, it was also before there were electric lights. And so people would actually go to bed quite early because it would just get dark early and there'd be nothing to do outside.
Right.
So people would actually almost never be sleep deprived. So they'd actually wake up pretty reliably at the right time. And in addition to that, the sun would wake them up often early enough.
The sun, of course. It's nature's alarm clock.
No, but during daylight savings time, you need a knocker upper.
I don't think they had daylight savings time back then.
What time are we talking about? Before alarm clocks?
Before alarm clocks. It must have been
Alarm clocks. There's a very clear alarm clock. Daylight savings.
It must have been back in like the 6.
Don't overthink it. We've always had water.
Yeah, we've always had water. We've always had alarm clocks. Although we've also always had people to be our knocker uppers.
They've always been around.
Knocker uppers.
That is true.
That's not right. Knocker upper is a different job, and I'm giving it to Sam. Sunlight. Keeping it simple. Sam, this is the correct answer. Sunlight. Sunlight. 5 points to Sam.
I'm sorry. It's actually Greg. It is knocker uppers.
Knocker uppers. It's not the answer.
That's so stupid. I hate our ancestors. I hate them so much.
How would the knocker uppers wake up?
Oh man, you know what? Has everybody? Oh, I can't spoil it. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they were employed as late as the 1970s.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
All right, I'm getting upset. That's the end of the second round. Our score is Greg 10 points, Sam 10 points, Nate 10 points. I have gotten none of these answers correct. We're all over the map. Sam, tell us something about yourself.
Oh, well, I just moved to Philly. It's lovely here. So far south. It's balmy every day. The city is the same as every other city these days, which is not. So wash your hands.
Great. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for that fun fact and PSA. Everybody, blue light glasses are great for your eyes, great for your sleep. Washing your hands is great for keeping healthy. I can't wait to hear what Nate has to say after the third round. Let's jump into it. Our first question in the third round is, why can't you take pork over the Pali Highway in Hawaii? Why can't you take pork over the Pali Highway in Hawaii. Greg, why can't you take pork?
Would you believe
Probably not. Go ahead.
that in Hawaii, there is a rather large community of Hasidic Jews? There at the end of Pele Highway is this community. They are known as the Sun Jews, and they have a sprawling community there, and they don't allow pork. They look down on it. They don't want that coming through, and because Hawaii is known for like all of the pork roasts, they just too many times have had tourists attending one and then trying to take it back to a hotel, and so they've actually made a law.
Thank you, Greg. Sam, why can't you take pork?
Well, it's actually an invasive species issue, and they wrote the law a little bit too broadly. There's an area, this is on the Big Island in Hawaii, where you can only get to via this highway. It's kind of like on a peninsula. And so an invasive species of wild boar had taken over one part of the island, and they wanted to stop it from taking over another part where there were several species that were going to be extinct or run into extinction from the forest. Run into extinction. That's the official term.
Run right into it.
Run right into extinction. And they wanted to avoid that running into extinction. And so they outlawed any kind of, they wrote boar originally, they changed it to pork to broaden it. So people couldn't, file off a horn or something and say, oh, this is just a regular pig. And people want to do. And yeah, so you can't take that across that highway at all.
Okay. That sounds a little bit right to me. We'll see. Nate, I want to hear your answer first. What's your answer?
All right. The Pali Highway, it's on Oahu. It connects the leeward side to the windward side of the island. It goes back old legend. You had Pele is the volcano god. She was in love with the war god. His name was Kampu'ua'a. And they had a tumultuous relationship. He was a half man, half pig. And they decided that to be a better partnership, they had to separate. So local law, you couldn't take a pig to the windward side of the island because it was connecting them. You had to go all the way around.
Okay.
All right, what's the name of that god again, Nate?
Yeah, one more time.
Upa'a.
I could not tell you if it was the same.
I also couldn't tell you.
I knew what you were trying to do.
I thought I had him, and I realized I didn't know.
The last syllable was right.
Okay, so here's the thing is that it's not Greg again. I'm going to rule that out. Sam used some pretty impressive words like invasive and extinction. Yeah. Uh-huh. Nate used some impressive words like windward.
And leeward.
And leeward.
And leeward.
Which are ship words. And I guess they're also island words.
Yeah, the trade winds. The trade.
Yeah. Are you trying to make Hawaii into some sort of submarine? What's going on?
Is everything a submarine to you, Nate?
Hey,
it's all submarines.
If those are boat words, it makes sense why Nate would know them, even if Nate didn't know about Hawaii.
Yep. My question to Sam, so wait, you're saying they broadened the law so broad that now even cooked meat can't come across? Because my understanding of pork is not...
Look, they don't enforce that, obviously, but it's written that way. So it's one of those laws where it's like, oh, you can't have tie your alligator to a fire hydrant or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's not written into the law.
There's a part 2 to the legend if you'd like to hear it. If you do take pork over the Pali, your car will break down and there's a chance you will see the night marchers.
The car breaks down in the legend.
It's local legend. Your car will break down and you will see Kumupa'as, Kamupu. I can't say it. You'd see his night marchers that are coming to take the pork.
There's a part 2 to the Hasidic Jews thing.
No. Nate gets the points. Nate, that sounds right.
Yay! I'm so happy.
Are you happy?
Yes. Somebody finally gets points on the right answer. Nate, thank you. This information, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, Will, actually. Next question in round 3. Here we go. Hydrofluoric acid. AKA, wait, hold on. Let me start over. I'm just going to read this as written. Here we go.
Not Ben?
No, I'm going to try it. Here we go. Hydrofluoric acid, in parentheses, hydrogen, fluorine, comma, HF, comma, dissolved in water, close parentheses, isn't quite like other acids.
Nope.
Shut up. Here's the question. What does it feel like to get HF on your skin? Okay, so we heard a little bit about hydrofluoric acid, hydrogen, fluorine, HF, dissolved in water. It's not like other acids. That was all background. The question is, what does it feel like on your skin? Sam, what does it feel like on your skin?
It's actually an incredibly dangerous acid because it feels like absolutely nothing, and it can still really hurt you. So it can damage your like flesh and your bones and stuff even because it can get under your skin, but you don't feel it right away.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds a little bit right. Nate, what do you think? What does it feel like on your skin, Nate?
It actually feels incredibly cold. It has a very, very, the freezing point, right? It turns solid at a very high temperature, okay? When it freezes, essentially, it causes a chemical reaction with your skin, and it creates an extremely cold sensation. You actually have to get it taken care of at a hospital if it happens to you. You could get basically frostbite.
That sounds right, too. Greg, what do you think? What does it feel like on your skin, Greg?
It feels nice. Feels just fine. Hydrofluoric acid, a common additive to suntan lotion.
No, Greg. No. Really? Acid in sunscreen?
Yeah.
I read a lot of ingredients labels. I don't remember HF.
Mm-hmm.
Acid in sunscreen?
Yeah.
Maybe. No.
HF, yeah, exactly, right? I mean, SPF, what is...
That can't be it, Greg, because...
That stands for HF.
HF.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what's the F in SPF?
Factor.
Factor. Yeah, it's factor. Listen. Oh, the audience thinks Greg is right. Oh, someone thinks Sam is right. Someone thinks Greg is right. We're getting a split. No one's on Nate's side now, but I haven't ruled Nate out. The thing about sunscreen is that it's white and it's opaque, kind of like whole milk, which is not acidic. It's basic. So sunscreen probably is as well.
Yeah. How do you think that you get the base to actually activate?
With hydrofluoric acid.
Yep. It's the chemical reaction of the acid and the base.
Acid feels like something.
Yeah, acid feels like something usually.
Two people are telling you it doesn't feel like anything.
It actually feels like nothing, and that's what makes it so scary.
Greg actually said it feels good. It feels good on your skin. No, I'm going to go with Sam. I know that Sam would know this, and it sounded right that it could be dangerous, but you don't feel anything. That's why it's dangerous. I'm going to go with Sam. I'm giving Sam points. 5 points.
Will actually here, and Sam is correct.
Look at that, Will. 2 in a row.
It feels so good to have this happen, this information. I got to tell you. Let's keep it going. One more.
Will loves when the good guy wins. We have one more question in round 3. Here we go. Last question in round 3. What was the reason for the existence of cornflakes? What was the reason for the existence of cornflakes? Why are cornflakes? That's the question. What's the reason? Nate, what's the reason for the existence of cornflakes?
So this goes back to Dr. Kellogg back at the turn of the century. He was trying to think of the most bland food he could think of to prevent kids from jerking off. He thought that if you made the blandest breakfast cereal possible, add it to milk, that would keep kids so bored they would stop touching their willies and they'd stop turning into deviants.
Who said that? Dr. Seuss?
Dr. Kellogg.
Kellogg. Right, Kellogg's. Okay.
Yeah.
To stop from masturbating.
Yeah. Okay. It's for a weird reason, but that's why.
I don't know why Nate would say that unless it was right. So I'm leaning Nate so far. Greg, what's cornflakes for?
Well, Nate's right. Dr. Kellogg, and you're familiar with Quaker oats, right? They were Quakers. And so, long thought that perhaps it, maybe has something to do with temperance. Actually, a Quaker's mission, a Christian mission that they have, is to feed all peoples. And they found that similar to the way that rice can fill the belly in a hungry person and contains a lot of nutrients, the oats were using more American crops and our grains, and was a way to feed and sustain the poor.
That sounds right too. But I like that Nate said the word willies. Sam, what do you have to say? What is the existence of cornflakes for?
So cornflakes are one of those foods that they created basically because they had a waste product they didn't know what to do with. They had a bunch of corn that was left over and got too old to ship out, didn't have any taste anymore. And they were like, well, we're just going to throw this out. What can we do with it? And one enterprising person, I don't think it was Kellogg, but I'm not sure who it was, decided, well, what if we just kind of smash it together into these flakes, put it in some milk, and then people will barely notice that it doesn't have any taste.
Okay. So Nate
was that in Nebraska?
Nate said masturbating. Greg said to feed the hungry, and Sam said capitalism. I definitely
the dumbest answer's been right this whole show.
That's true. But maybe not this time.
Oh, that's true. I guess here's the thing. Here's my question is, Sam said he didn't know who did it. And if he was making up an answer, he could have just made up a name.
Right.
But Nate said that it was for masturbating, which why would anyone say that if that wasn't real information?
Because it's Nate.
Well, what else do you do on a submarine?
What if you ask what else are you gonna do on a submarine? I feel like if you ask Nate to come up with anything, the first thought that he'd have is something to do with masturbating.
I will not argue that point.
He did say willies, which was great.
But yeah, no, it was the Quakers. They had a Christian mission to feed people.
To make money off of their trash. That's all.
They really cared about kids touching themselves back then. Like weird.
They did.
Yeah.
They did care about that. I really think Sam's right. I'm going to give it to Sam. That's the reason for a lot of things is the capitalism and wanting to. No.
It was masturbation. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Is that the same thing as graham crackers?
Masturbating. Okay.
Yeah, all part of it.
Points to Nate for masturbating. What we have to do is we have to go into the bonus lightning round. This is a very close game, not for Greg. Greg has 10 points. But Nate has 15 and Sam has 20. The audience gets to decide the winner here. We are going to give a bonus lightning round. We're going to flash a bunch of questions really, really quickly. Everybody, you just get like 1 second to answer. And audience, you get to give points for answers that you think sound right by typing somebody's name and then like a +1 for an extra point.
Or a +10.
Answers, or a +10 in Greg's case.
So that I can get back in this game.
I'll send my Amazon gift cards.
Round, super quick. What are these questions? Question 1. What's this, Greg?
It's the thing you put ketchup in.
Sam, what's this?
It's the thing you put mustard in.
Nate, what's this?
A tiny bonnet.
It's called a souffle cup, and Sam and Greg were right for its use.
It's a
Condiments.
souffle cup, everybody. All right, next question. What's this? Greg, what's this?
This is how you size someone's feet back in the day before you had like an electric way to do it for shoes.
Sam, what's this?
This is how you measure someone's foot today. Now, what?
Nate, what's this?
Yeah, it's how you measure shoes in Europe.
They're all correct. It's called a Brannick device.
Brannick device. Brannick device was the name, everybody. Come on, let's do this.
Okay. Are we supposed to get more specific?
Get as specific as you want. What is this? Look at this.
That's nanner skins.
Sam, what are those called?
Those are called floppy dongles.
Great. Nate, what are those called?
It's just called fiber.
They're called flum bundles.
Flum bundles. Next question. What was this antique tool used for, Greg?
Head scratching, but bad.
Sam, what was it for?
It was for phrenology and sizing the scalp.
Nate, what was it for?
It was for finding bugs in like the head. You know.
Will, what is this actually for?
It's actually used for apple picking.
That feels right.
Dummies. Next question. Who is this? Greg, who is this?
It's your grandfather.
Sam, who is this?
That's a young old Robert De Niro.
Nate, who is this?
That's Herbert Hoover Young.
And Will, who is this actually?
It's actually motion picture actor Edward J. Brady.
Great. Couple more. Next question.
Yep. Yeah, misinformation's distant relative.
What breed of goldfish is this, Greg?
Flub-headed goldfish.
Sam, what goldfish is this?
Brain goldfish.
Nate, what is this?
It's called the parakeet fish.
Will.
It's actually called the Oranda goldfish.
Oh.
Last question. We have time for one more. What kind of cake is this, Greg?
It's a checker cake.
Sam, what is this called?
Punnett square cake.
Nate, what is this called?
That's called an Everdeen cake. It's from England.
Oh, wow. Will?
It's actually called a Battenberg cake.
Battenberg. It is from England, though, Nate. All right, that was our final bonus question. Nate, tell us about yourself. I'm going to add up these answers.
My name is Nate. I have a show coming on next. It's Poof the Magical Game Show. We have a podcast called 91 Donkey Lane. You should all listen to it. You're all invited to be guests on. So all of you, email me. I want to get you on both. So there you go. And we're doing Poof next. So stay tuned for another game show.
It's also one more game show up after this. And while misinformation is counting up the votes, I will say thank you all for coming on. You all had such amazing right answers. I am very, very sorry and ashamed that you all didn't get the points that you so justly deserved. You were all winners in my book, even if someone else comes out a winner who may or may not necessarily deserve the right points.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm going to stop throwing misinformation under the bus now.
Okay. We have our totals, everybody. Our three contestants. This was a closer game than I thought it was going to be. Nate ended up with 17 points.
Ooh.
17 points in third place.
Yeah, I kind of bombed that last round.
Greg, you got a ton of bonus points, far and above the most bonus points. You ended up with 20 points total. Yes. And Sam, as if he needed another diploma, is going to be our winner tonight with 27 points, far and above the most points tonight goes to Sam. Sam, you are going to get another degree to hang on your very crowded wall of degrees from 2MB University. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining tonight. I had a blast, and I hope you did too. And from all of us here at That Sounds Right, we'll see you next week.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.